Hi there, and thanks for listening. I'm your host, Joe Lee, and this is the SkanFest Podcast, an interview series for the Skaneateles Festival. We're a summer concert series based in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, and this year we're presenting our 47th season. On the podcast, we spend time getting to know our visiting artists who travel the world making music of the highest caliber. Norm Lewis is an Emmy, Tony, and SAG Award nominated performer known for a rich baritone voice and for portraying such quintessential theatrical roles as the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera, Inspector Javert in Les Mis, Sweeney Todd and Porgy and Bess, among others. Lewis is also prolific on screen, including appearances in Spike Lee's The Five Bloods, FX's Pose, and as Senator Edison Davis on Scandal, among others. Beyond performance, he is also a proud founding member of Black Theater United, working to protect and elevate Black lives and talent across the industry. Norm, it is quite the pleasure to have you here with us today, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. First of all, I just have to say I'm honored to be here, and also please forgive my hat that I'm wearing. I'm having a really bad hair day because I have to keep it a certain length. I'm doing a project right now that I'm shooting up in Vancouver, and I go back and forth a lot. So for some reason, I'm looking like, if anyone can get this reference, Lauren Green from Bonanza or Grandpa from the Munsters. I'm having so I'm wearing a Giants hat.
Unfortunately, I get them both. So look, remind me. I do want to touch on if you can talk about it. I'd like to touch on that in a second. But to start out, I just kind of want to know how you got into acting and singing. What's your superhero origin story?
Well, basically, it started in church. I was pretty active in the church growing up. My grandfather was a preacher. My dad was the chairman of the deacon board. So basically, my family lived in church, and we would have to go to Bible study and choir practice and things like that. And I joined the choir as a young kid, around 9 years old, and just kept singing. But I didn't know I could sing. It was just kind of a rite of passage, if you will, and just because we were so involved with the church. And it took until I was in high school to find out that I had a voice, and I did it only because I had to pick an elective in high school, and that became my new sort of passion in life. I played tennis growing up, which was my first passion. And then this was given to me from the universe, God, whoever you want. And so I cultivated it in college. I still majored in business, but it was one of those things where I couldn't let it go. So I sang in choir. I did some plays and musicals in college. Then after college, worked in advertising for a newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel. And from there, because I grew up in Orlando, just to kind of tie that up. And from there, I did contests at local bars. And this one guy who saw me at one of those contests offered me a job on a cruise ship. And
Oh, wow.
That's how it started.
So look, in high school, what was it? What was the point where you said, "Oh snap! I think I got some skills in this"? Was it like a play or a talent show?
No, literally, I needed an elective to graduate, and this was halfway through my junior year, and they had me in home economics, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to cook or sew right now. So I chose to go to choir because I sang in church. I said, it's got to be easy, and that's when it was an aha moment, like Oprah said, for me, because it became. I started singing classical and Broadway and standards, where before that I just sang gospel music or R&B, like Motown stuff. But
And beyond the cruise gig, what was the moment where you said, I think I can make a career out of this thing?
Well, while I was on the cruise, I was on it for about 4.5 months, and I decided at that moment, because the show itself, I only work 4 hours a week on the cruise, so I got a little bored, and I said, okay, what can I do with this? And I was going to go back to school and study theater. and wait 2 years and then move to New York and the whole thing. And one of the guys that was on the ship that was part of the show, I stepped into a role of professional actors. These people had been on Broadway or regional theater. They've been working actors for many, many years. And they encouraged me to move to New York. And so that's what I did. They said, you can study in New York as opposed to going back to school. And that's what I did. I just picked up and after the cruise ship gig and came up here.
And the rest is history.
Rest is
and
history.
that history includes history.
Really?
So as I understand it, you were the first Black actor to play the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera. Is that correct?
On Broadway.
On Broadway.
Yeah,
Okay.
Robert Guillaume was the first African American to play the role. He did it in Los Angeles.
Okay.
At the Amundsen Theater.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you look back at Guillaume's performance to inform your own, or how did you approach? First of all, how did you feel about being the first to do it on Broadway? How did you approach the role, and did you look at Guillaume's performance at all to
No, I never
figure
got
out
a
how you
chance
wanted
to
to
see.
inform
I never got a chance to see his performance because this was way before
before
back
video?
in the 90s. So it was
Yeah.
before internet and things like that. But I just knew that he was someone that was given that gift of playing the role. And I thought in my mind that I had to be a star. So I was, trying to become like someone who had some sort of name in order to be even considered for it. But I just kept it in the back of my mind, and then opportunities came along. And for about 20 years, I kept saying, I want to play the Phantom. I want to play the Phantom. So it's interesting how you manifest things if you say it. But but I saw it back in 1994 up in Toronto, Canada, and I was doing a show up there, and I said to myself, I really would love to be a part of this, if not the Phantom himself. And I just remember when the call came in that they had an audition. I went in, and basically it was on the stage of the Majestic Theater where it was, and I said to myself, and I heard voices of people past, like Paul Robeson, William Warfield, and even some people who were living, Andre DeShields, and at that time, Ken Page, who was still living, God rest his soul. But I heard their voices before I stepped out and said, go get it, go get it. And I did my best, and whether I got the show or not, I know I left my soul on that stage. And luckily, I got hired.
So when you got the call, did you have a oh crap moment? Like, I made it happen, now I have to do it?
There were several feelings. The fact that I had a job, for one. I had a job. For two, it was to fulfill that dream of wanting to play the role. And then lastly, it was that title of being the first African-American to play the role. But it later became something different. Like I do honor that title, if you will, but I will say it meant more to me to meet people who would come to the stage door, who were from different cultures, saying now, because I did it, they feel like they can do it. And that meant more to me than anything.
Mm-hmm. And that is just one of many sort of iconic roles that you've taken on. We mentioned it in the opener, Porgy, Inspector Javert,
Right.
these iconic roles that a lot of theater goers have seen over and over in different productions.
Right.
When you took those on, was there a desire to do something different or honor the classic? How did you approach these roles that people seem to know well because of the length of time they've been in our culture?
Well, I'll start with Javert. What I did with my acting coach at the time, I'm honoring people who have passed on. So my friend passed away a few months ago, but he was my acting coach, Alan Savage, God rest his soul. But we approached it as something new. Because I could have been very robotic and done what everyone else has done, because the music kind of is so staccato that you can just fall in line, tell me quickly what's the story, who saw what and why and where, things like that, and gotten away with it. But I wanted to find out the language within that music, and there were questions within that particular scene that I just did. And I was waiting for the answer. So no matter if it's a millisecond or if it's an entire minute, you're asking a question. So as an actor, you're wanting a response. And so I approached it. We didn't sing it for a while. We actually spoke it because it's an opera. So we spoke it and took the music away. And you discover so many things once you do that because the language is so dense and deep. And so that's the way I approached it, which was hopefully that could have been the reason why they chose me for the 25th anniversary. I don't know. But I got a chance to play the role on Broadway in the West End and also the 25th anniversary. And then with The Phantom, I was just so happy. I didn't care. I was like, I will do whatever you tell me to do. Because the show's been running forever. So whatever The Phantom does, that's what I'll do. And it was interesting because Harold Prince, again, someone who has passed on, God rest his soul, gave me permission to kind of bring Norm to the role, which is all that I can do anyway. Any actor can do. It's just you can only bring yourself. Of course, you're going to do the same blocking. You're going to have the same intentions, but there might be a slight difference. And with me, I'm a baritone, not a tenor. So there's a different sound that comes from me. Obviously, my appearance is different than a lot of people who played the role. So I
What
was go ahead.
what other parts of Norm did you bring to the role?
Well, it's interesting because there was a moment in the end of the show, if you've ever seen the show, there's a moment where he gets very frustrated with his love interest because it's unrequited. And so he becomes a petulant child. And Harold Prince said, I want you to go as far as you can of being like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home, kind of just be a petulant child. And he said, I'll let you know when you've gone too far. And so I tried all kinds of things. And he's like, no, I go keep going. And so, as far as Porgy, I was really surprised that I was even up for that role because when you see it on the opera stage, you normally see a operatic baritone singing this amazing music. And the musical theater role is usually Sport and Life. And I thought that that's what they wanted me to play. And they were like, no, we want you as Porgy and opposite Audra McDonald. And so I was like, oh, wow. So I did some digging and some studying of who this character was. And I just tried to bring honesty and truth. Now, what we did not do is have a goat. We didn't have a cart. We didn't, because that just was a little too expensive to do it that way. It's tough to take care of an animal
Yeah.
for 8 shows a week. But they had me very disabled, if you will, very physically challenged. That was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Physically challenged, but still someone that you would think that Bess could fall in love with. And so it just worked. I wanted to bring truth and authenticity to this character who could not work, so he had to beg in order to survive.
Hmm. That that play has a special place in my heart. It was the first play I ever saw on Broadway.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I was in high school. It was one of those high school trips, senior year trip. We went from
Right.
Baltimore, Maryland up to New York, and I wish I had taken it more serious. I was trying to figure out how to get out of it and go have fun in New York City, but I do have very fond memories, and actually it ended up striking an interest, sparking an interest in theater for me for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
so you guys know you have that effect on people, right? You realize that you have that effect where someone can see your performance maybe for the first time, and then it sparks an interest for the rest of their lives. You own that power.
Yeah,
You own that responsibility.
it's interesting because I've a few years ago, I would say, I don't know, 10 or no, oh my God, 20 years ago. That's when I did Les Mis for the first time. Jesus Christ, 20 years ago. Anyway, um, uh, that's when I realized who I had become, because people started coming up to me saying, we studied you in college, or we listened to your records and things like that. And I was like, oh, shoot. For me, I was just getting a job. I was just having a job. But but yeah, once people started stopping me on the street saying, "You're the reason why I'm in musical theater. I've listened to you. I've tried to emulate you." It does become, oh wow, I guess I am someone that has something to say, and so I try to be as straightforward and honorable as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us as we move through the world want to make an impact in some
Yeah.
kind of way, and you're definitely making an impact. So, in terms of the notches on the belt, what's next? What roles are out there that you would want that you haven't played yet?
Oh, wow. It's interesting because I was talking about this recently with some friends. I'm a man of a certain age now. And so, as far as some of these roles that were, especially the iconic roles like Josh Henry, who just won the Tony Award for Ragtime, I've played that role, Cole House Walker, but, I probably wouldn't be considered for that anymore because I am someone who is older now than who that character is. So I'm looking forward to a lot of newer projects. Um, and, there were still things like Man of La Mancha. There's a show called Most Happy Fella. I want to do a little bit more digging because I think that there's a lot of black musicals that have not been surfaced, and I think that there might be some jewels there. But I last year I was lucky enough. I started doing more plays, and I did a show called Ceremonies and Dark Old Men, and that was with the Negro Ensemble. Um, so I'm gonna start looking more into what our history is.
Hmm. There's a lot out there, and
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to following you and watching you take that stuff on. Let's talk a little bit briefly about the Black Theater United project. What's the mission? How's it going? How did it start?
It's going great. It started because LaShance and Audra McDonald they called each other. They're really, really good friends. And what had happened after, it was COVID, uh, there was a series of murders and deaths, Breonna Taylor, obviously George Floyd, that hit the world over the head. And so it was a moment in time that was where people needed to come together. Because of George Floyd, I think it sparked a lot of emotions, anger, things like that, where people in different sort of worlds started expressing their griefs and their um, injustices, and it was happening in the theatrical world. And so we were asking the producers of these, especially very iconic shows that had people of color in them, "What are you saying about this? What are you saying?" Because they were very silent, and so that's what a lot of people were kind of complaining about. So Audra, LaChance, they called their friends, and I'm part of that friend group, thank God, and we were on the Zoom. There were about, I would say, 40 of us in the beginning that just Zoomed for 5 to 6 or 7 hours, just expressing ourselves and what can we do? Because we have relationships with theater owners and producers and people, heads of unions, things like that. And so we said, okay, why don't we put something together and have some sort of coalition that we can have conversations. So that's what we did, and we went the 501(c)(3) route. We wanted to, and we still want to be the NAACP of theater, that kind of, and making sure that there's a voice at the table when there's projects that are coming up, and just informing people that there's
Hmm.
more to theater than just singing, dancing, and acting,
Right.
and ideas. And so since that time, that was 2020, and we are 6 years into this now. And what's been beautiful about this thing, in the beginning, people wanted to be allies. Everybody was like, okay, yes, what can I do to help Black Lives Matter? Things like this. We knew that
Changed a little bit now, though, hasn't it?
I was going to say, we knew that
Yeah.
window was going to
Uh-huh.
close, or at least really, really get close to closing. And especially last year with the executive order about DEI and everything, and at a negative, which is not, obviously not. So we've had to change our language a little bit. And when it comes to our mission, we've had to change our language when it comes to who we are working with and
Hmm.
protecting, things like that, because we are an open door. But it really does make it's what I say to people all the time. It's like a historically black college like Howard University. Of course, it is a historically black college, but anyone can come through the door. And it just know that we're going to focus on a certain thing. But, if you have some input into that, we definitely will protect you as, the whole thing. So over the past few years, I'm sorry for taking
No,
so
please.
but
Please.
we over the past few years, we have a scholarship program. We have a mentorship program where we allow students to apply and have an internship with different companies that deal with theater, PR, management, uh, several different aspects of it. But it's a paid internship, and it's 6 weeks over the summer. It's happening right now. And some kids have been hired actually because they have great skills. And we're just showing even a lot of professionals who are lighting designers, who are sound engineers, and backstage, showing them that there are jobs that are out there, or letting people in those positions on Broadway, letting them know that there are Black people or people of color who have these skill sets. So, give them the opportunity. So it's been an amazing thing. We started an educational program last year, and it just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what sort of actionable items are you most proud of that have come out of the advocacy that you guys are doing. It sounds like those are two of them.
Yeah, definitely. And, like I said, we're having a gala October 5th at the Ziegfeld. So if anyone wants to come and join and celebrate with us, we're honoring Delroy Lindo. We're honoring a few people from CBS. We're honoring. It's been really, really interesting. We had Sam Jackson one year. We had Common one year. We honored. So it's a great show. Raises great money, but knowing that money is going towards amazing things.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I love to hear about those kinds of efforts. So you're coming to Skaneateles, New York, and
Yes.
that's going to be on August 1st at Anyela's Vineyards. Talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing. What's the show? What can we expect?
Well, if you know me, I'm pretty honest, obviously, because I'm talking about my bad hair day and having to wear a hat. But in that honesty, I like to have a lot of fun, and I kind of incorporated that philosophy from the Rat Pack. They say that they want to have fun on stage, and we hope you come along. So I'm just going to have a ball up on that stage. I'm going to do some Broadway. I'm going to do some a little bit of contemporary, a little bit of Luther, maybe a little bit of Michael Jackson. Who knows? I don't know.
Nice.
But what I love about this town, I've never heard of Skaneateles, and we were in the beginning when we had the offer, we didn't even know how to say the name. So we're like, where the hell is this? We thought it actually was a different country at first.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I'm excited to see a different part of New York. I'm excited to see where people live, and so the fact that you even want me. I'm excited just to kind of come and say hello.
Well, I got to tell you, I'll prepare you. It is one of the most beautiful places you'll visit.
Awesome.
It's a nice slice of small town life.
Okay.
The lake is crystal clear and beautiful. There are hills in the back of it. I think you're really gonna enjoy. If you can find some downtime, you will enjoy breathing in Skaneateles, and I look forward to meeting you there.
Yeah.
Not briefly, take all the time you need, but what is the project that has you looking like looking like grandpa from Herman Munster?
Yes, exactly. So it's a show, and I think I can talk about it now. It's a show called Life is Strange. It's a TV show that's going to be on Amazon, and it's based on a game that the kids know about. I had never even heard of it. But a young lady who has special powers can go back in time. She can reverse time. And I'm a principal of a high school of where she attends. And yeah, we've shot a couple of episodes already. I'm not sure when the release date will be, but
Okay.
I'm just very, very excited about, first of all, a job.
Okay. Yeah.
But secondly, I get a chance to do more television, and which I love. And so, yeah, I got the cast is great. Not anyone that you would probably know, but it's
Okay.
a lot of great young people who are students in the high school, and some adults, some teachers, some parents, things like that. And I'm just having fun. My main thing is that because it is kind of in that sci-fi sort of magical world, I hope we get to go to Comic-Con.
Yeah, well, that is my genre. That's my jam.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
love sci-fi and fantasy. I've hosted a pop culture podcast, so I may be familiar with some of the folks that are going to be in there. But you're going to play a principal, and they got you looking like Sweet Daddy Grace. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to checking that out when it comes out. Norm, it's been a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to your performance, and hopefully get a chance to chat with you in
Oh,
person when you come in
absolutely.
town.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you sing?
I do not.
You do not? I
Not
was gonna say, maybe
not
I'll
to
invite you up
anyone's
on stage.
Yeah, not to anyone's delight, I can tell you that. But I do eat and I do drink wine, and if
All right.
we get a chance, let's do that.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Norm will be with us for Broadway by the Lake with Norm Lewis on August 1st at Anyela's Vineyards, our first Vineyard concert of the season. Learn more about our 47th season and buy tickets. You can do that by visiting SkanFest.org. Thanks so much to Norm, and we can't wait to see you in August here in Skaneateles.
Can't wait to see you as well.